Hello everybody, I'm here with Sable today on this beautiful day. We're in the round pen and this is our, I believe, 5th day of long lining. So we've been working a little bit without the long lines at first to get used to my body language. And then, I clip on the lines first onto ideally a halter situation so we don't long line right away off the bit. But at this point, since she's taking to it very easily and agreeably, I am happy to say that we can just clip on the bit as we have done. So I have 2 long lines that are running through the rings of a surcincle, the lowest rings. I don't know if you can see it so well from that distance of the camera right now, but that's kind of what we're doing. We're using the long lines to mimic the rein contact that I would have under saddle. And we're doing the same thing that I've been doing with her under saddle and on the lunge line. In the beginning, we're going in small circular shapes around the round pen here. Nothing really too specific, but always saying, come on, let's engage the hind end, which I do with my whip and these little circular motions that I'm sort of just gently saying, come on, let's move and not just drag the hind feet. And then every once in a while, I hold the inside rein a little bit with a little bit more contact. Engage, hold, wait for the release in the jaw if I can get it. And then there comes a stretch right afterwards. And that is the same principle that we've been practicing under saddle, like I said, and a little bit on the lunge line. And so my biggest goal with Sable is to engage her and to make her understand that she can stretch herself in a top line, and with the same idea for her stomach muscles. She can stretch herself, wait for me, and so that her muscles will become over time a little bit more easily stretchable, elastic, and in terms of our riding, that she can, relax a little bit more. She's been, as you may know from watching some of the previous videos, she's been sort of a tight package of tension, and a lot of that comes out in the riding in what I call a hot-cold behavior in a horse, where in the beginning they're very, very hard to move forward. They're going into the pressure against the leg, and then once they start to warm up a little bit, there's a little bit of resistance usually in the trot, and that's what happened and is continuously still happening with Sable, where you trot for a while in the posting trot or sitting for a few steps, and then she gets really tense and sucks back a little bit. And so we're going to change directions here as I'm talking and narrating. Come on, so. And then once you have her trotting for a while, she usually becomes really kind of hot and charges ahead. These surges of energy coming through her that are then hard to rein in, right? If you don't have a horse that understands a regular, nice conversation in terms of her, the aid system, which didn't seem to be in place when I first started with her a few weeks ago, then it's hard, as I think is my suspicion what happened to her in her previous situation, is that people resort to sharper bits and other means to, rein in the energy that develops over the second or, second half or the, later part of each session. And so as you can see right now, there's not a lot going on in terms of energy. I'm just going to let her mosey around for a little bit longer, and then again, stretch a little bit, ask for the inside rein, and a little bit of encouragement. You can see how maybe you can see it or maybe you can't, but you can see how I'm going to try and engage her a little bit. And there's that really slow, almost cement-like way of moving. Come, I'll let her itch herself. I don't want to stress her out in the warm-up, in the walk. And then I'm going to go here in a moment into just a little bit of a few steps of trot on a smaller circle. Come, and trot. And there's a little bit of that nervous head shaking that she does, and walk right away, right? So it's the same pattern that we've been doing, but I can engage her a little bit better and have a little bit more control over her with the long lines on both sides as she's moving in and out of these walk trot transitions. So I'm just going to do that for a little while. Come, and trot. I'm trying to stay out of the shade so the camera doesn't lose me. That's why I'm not using the whole round pen, but there it is. You see, there's a little bit of that, you know, it's kind of a tentative trot, but it's not a super forward, but I'm fine with that. I just want rhythm and relaxation, a little bit of stretching in between. Come and trot. So it's good. So it's good. So, and then I'm going to see if she can hold it for a little bit longer without, and walk, good girl, without either stalling or running. That is my goal, is to eventually make the circles a little bit bigger and trot and have, you know, a regular rhythm with her. So that is the first part here, a little bit larger, the circle, and walk, good girl. So I'm gonna try and, you know, give her the signal to go down in the down transition. Now she's offering it by herself, but I'm usually also not talking so much with her. So here I'm changing directions with her, just weaving that in real quick. Come on, my good girl. So it's good. And we'll just continue with these walk transitions. And she knows this already. You can tell she's offering it, and that's good. And walk. So good girl. So, and trot. So, and the reason I'm doing this, as you may have heard me say in my previous videos, is that I don't want her to glaze over. I don't want her to, you know, go into sort of this tuned out and almost trance-like trot, where she's either, after a while, the tension builds so much that, you know, she will have to somehow voice that to me by either stalling or running. So I'm going to say to her just a few steps, and then we're going to relax again, walk a little bit. So, and I don't mind if she second guesses it right now, and if she's offering a little bit of this to me on her own. So, good girl. So now I'm going to try and see if I can get her to trot a little bit longer and on a little bit of a larger circle here around the center of the circle. And you will see how there's a little bit of slower and a little bit more forward trot. There's a little bit of that question mark that I always call it in my head. You know, she's trotting. I'm just giving even input right now with my eyes, with my body angle, with the whip. And all I'm saying to her is, please, let's have a regular, really nice trot here. So it's good. So, and you can see this is actually quite nice today. We've had other days where this was not possible. And as I said, we've only been out here a handful of times. And you can also see how she's experimenting with the rein contact here, right? There are times when she's stretching quite nicely. And then there are times when she might, you know, curl herself up a little bit. And I'm not here to put her into a very specific frame, other than that I don't want her to invert her back or bring her neck up so that it's too straight. But this is really quite nice here. Oh, and walk. Good girl. So that was actually quite nice. So I'll let her scratch here for a moment. Very good girl. So. Come, good girl. So then I'm gonna give her a moment to walk. And you can see that she's a little bit more animated than when we first started. So it's good. Come. Good girl. So, and I'm going to change directions, and we'll do a little bit of the same thing to the other side here. Good girl. I'm always having to entangle myself from these long lines that have a habit of, you know, be making a most incredible knot if I don't watch it. So, good girl. So, and then we're going to go and see how she feels about it going to this side. Come and trot. Come. So it's good. Come. Very nice. What I'm looking for is a regular rhythmic trot with a reasonable level of relaxation. Exactly. There you go. And with even rein contact to this side, of course, it's a little bit different because of the horse's natural unevenness. A little bit of canter there, that's no big deal. This is the same sort of quest that I have under saddle, is to say you have to accept my forward aids, right? There's a tiny little bit of slowing down, but not even close to what we've had other times. Good girl. So it's good. Come. So, but I can see it through her body. There's a little bit of that slower trot. Good, good. But the stretching is good. And I'm, asking her with a little bit outside flexion, a little bit inside flexion, to stay flexible and lateral through her whole body. Come, come. So it's good. Good girl, my Zuzi. So, I'm quite pleased with that today. We haven't had, I think, this long of a really relaxed, nice trot with her. Not in the round pen, at least. And so this is really, really promising. And I'm going to let her walk again and walk. Good girl. So, very nice. Come and walk on. So, and the long lines always, just like the reins, are there to help the horse balance him or herself as we're engaging on the ground in similar patterns as we do under saddle. And the idea is always, come, to say, look, let's not get stuck and sticky with, what the horse has in her mouth here. She has to feel that it's a reliable measure that supports her sense of balance as I'm engaging her hind legs and without sitting on her, which is the great advantage of this whole long lining procedure, is that I'm not sitting on her. I'm letting her make all these decisions of how fast and at what angle and what, rhythm, what speed, what tempo. Those things are, I invite her to do it a certain way, but I don't push the envelope, and I let her make a lot of these decisions on her own. And the idea behind that is that we ideally eventually want to have a horse that is balanced within him or herself, rather than us riders constantly having to micromanage with our own weight aids and leg aids and, all these different, the reins, all these different things. We don't want to, be heavy-handed. Good girl. So very, very nice. So I'm gonna just let her stand here for a moment. I'm gonna ask her to back up. Good, very good girl. No, very gently, little bit of an invitation rhythmically for her to yield to my rein aids. She's backing up, and that's really, really lovely. And I will call that a day with her for today. This was excellent. This was actually so much nicer than what I had anticipated. So much for today. So much for all my plans that I had, the things that I wanted to show. But this is fabulous. I'm happy with it. We'll just let her walk it off in a moment here. But that's it for now. I thank you for watching. Hope this is an inspiration to you. And one more step on Sable's beautiful journey today. Good girl. Thank you.